Hey all, come on a journey with me as I create a custom wedding gown. This is Amber, one of my favorite bridal clients ever. She was super easy to work with, she gave me her ideas, and you're coming on a journey with me as I create this custom ballroom style wedding gown.
Hey y'all, it's Mimi Moore, Paper Doll Bridal, and I decided to do something a little different. I'm going to go ahead and take you guys with me while I create a bridal gown. You know, Paper Doll Bridal is a little different because we actually go ahead and create most of the gowns that we sell. So come on by and watch, and then we'll figure out how I do what I do to make your dreams come true. Okay, so here I'm going to start with the top first, and here I've made my own patterns. I've got the lace, the illusion, the under nude fabric, and also some tulle just in case I need it. I'm not sure I'm going to cut it out anyway, most likely, but I'm going to start by allowing you guys to come on this journey with me cutting out my stuff initially, okay? Great. Alrighty, so here I have some nude fabric that I'm actually going to use for the underlining of the top portion of the gown. And of course, every pattern piece is not actually going to go for this, but most of the pattern pieces will. I just have two pieces, my nude side and for the illusion, and also the nude center. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use a nude center. But here goes my front, my side front, and I've got like a side back here that I've actually created, and also the back, the true back. So the way I work is I actually go ahead and sometimes make alterations to the patterns if I see where it needs to actually be a little bit more altered, and I'm not liking the shape or something like that. So I go a little bit each way, each step, and you'll figure it out, I guess. And hopefully, if not, just go ahead and send me a bunch of questions, and I'll be happy to help you out. So I'm gonna save this particular piece for the last piece because I need to cut it on the fold, and I've got my salvaged edges on the thing, and I'm going to actually cut everything out probably 4 times, and you'll see why as I create it. All right. And also, I tend to I know it's going to be hard to see it because my pattern piece is a little the same color as the nude, but I tend to go ahead and cheat and not pin my stuff down. I'll hold it down. Don't follow me. You might want to pin it down because it actually gets a little bit tricky if you don't. But I've been at this for, probably over 34 years. So I get interesting. I've held down pattern pieces with pill bottles or shoes or whatever the case is, or, whatever I have. So I found a great weight. One of my tools. I actually have a motorcycle that I've decked out with rhinestones, a million rhinestones all over my motorcycle. Another story. But I want to use that for my weight this time around because it's going to hold and it's not going to move. So it'll work just nicely. All right, I'm going to cut that out. All right, so I can be a little silly sometimes, so just bear with me. I have that weight down, and I think it's a great weight because I can cut and hold this phone while I record with one hand. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And I've got it in four, I've got this thing in like 4 pieces, so I've folded it twice. I don't know if you guys can see this at all. I hope you can. And in all honesty, this millimeter really isn't going to make that much of a difference, but hey. Ooh, I forgot to pray. Lord, help me do what I don't know what to do, and just move me out the way and create this piece for me. I always like to go ahead and pray before I start, because sometimes I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. And most of the times, I'll kind of not even remember cutting it out. All right, so look at that. So that is that back pattern piece cut out 4. I cut this one out 4 times because it's necessary for the underlining of the lace and the actually lining as well. This stuff tends to stretch a little bit. It's just not necessary. And then I personally go ahead and move the patterns around as necessary, as I need it. Most of y'all probably wouldn't do that, but that's how I do it, and this is my video. So anywho, like I said, ask questions along the way if you need to. I know I'm going to go a little faster. All right, here we go. And my tool is actually a great pattern weight because it's heavy and it holds stuff down real good. One day, when this is not my first video doing stuff like this, I'm going to do it live. That way, I might be able to read your comments as I work. And you cut as close to your pattern as possible. All right, so that ain't close. That is not close. Oh, I'll just come back. And that tiny little piece that I was cutting off probably won't make that much of a difference, but sometimes I get a little weirded out when I don't do things. Look at that. I was about to cut my pattern piece. Yeah, I don't do the conventional way. But my pieces also don't look conventional. I'm going to put this phone down so I can cut it out properly. Alright, so there you can see that I've actually really got real close to the edges of my pattern piece. If you get too much extra stuff, then it starts changing the dimensions of your patterns, and you don't want that at all. So I've got the back, and this is the side back, and I'm about to go ahead and cut the other 2 pieces out. I'll show you that after the fact. You don't need to see me cutting everything out, so I'll show you that after the fact. Okay, so I forgot that she wanted some underlace underneath the regular lace, the white lace. And it actually is something that I've seen on a lot of different bridal gowns recently. So it's just a thin layer of lace that it just adds an actual special touch that I've seen to it. Even if you don't like that lace, don't worry about it. The beautiful thicker, I think it's a Venetian lace, is actually on top. So that's my pieces cut out. I did not cut the Venetian lace, white Venetian lace out, because I wanted to use a different technique in finishing it off, and you'll learn about that in a bit. So before I actually go ahead and put the sides and front and back and all that together, I actually like to go ahead and stitch this lace to under nude lace, under lace lining, so that it gives it stability and it actually doesn't move around too much. So we're going to start doing that in a second. And of course, everybody else in the world should go ahead and pin. I am just trying to rush through it right now, so here we go. Oh, and another thing, you might want to go ahead and make sure that you have more than enough thread, otherwise you're gonna have to restring it. Okay, so here we go. And of course this is a little bit more difficult when you don't have two hands. And I have a million machines. I have my industrial strength, and I have this little cheap little one that I got from Walmart, the Brother, and it actually does a sufficient job. Anything that actually stitches a straight line is all that I really need. And you're going to see that it's not a matter of, I think I got this one for like $75 or something like that at Walmart. I was running out of, I broke another machine, or it wasn't acting right. The needle and it just wasn't acting right. So in a crunch, I actually went out and I got this one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch them all together, and then I'll show you. Another thing, that when I actually stitch a lace onto an underlining, I don't always go to that 5/8 mark on the machine needle. I actually stitch it a little bit further in so that I don't ever run into the issues of seeing this stitching in the outside stitching. Okay, so this is the basic pieces. The front top piece and the lining is underneath, and the sides and the lining is underneath, the side back and the back. All right. So next I'm going to go ahead and take a front piece and the bust side piece and go ahead and put them together. So after you've stitched it together, this is basically what the front portion looks like. There is a sheer side panel that I have to put on as well, but that's basically what it looks like with that lace piece on. I know it's not looking very wedding gownish just yet, but it will. Stay tuned. And remember how I said that there was a nude piece that we were going to actually cut out of the illusion? This is like the center, the side. So yeah, I've got two of them cut out. Doesn't look like two, but there are actually two of them cut out. And I've got one for like the front piece that I believe I might need. But all right, guys, now it's time to attach that that illusion, nude colored illusion, to the side back, and then we'll attach it to the whole garment. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So I line it up like this. We'll have to line it up. And oh, I got it. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and stitch it. And of course we're doing that to both sides, the mirrored side. Okay, and after you've got it stitched on there, one to the other side, like that, you're going to take that back side, that true back side, and put it on there, and then stitch it down as well. Okay, so after you've stitched it together, this is basically what it looks like. I know it's not much of anything, but wait, oh wait. Oh, and I need to go ahead and put this little nude piece up into the center here. Now that you've got both illusion pieces, all three illusion pieces in there, excuse me, it's time to go ahead and attach the lining pieces to this piece, and regularly. Okay, so this is the front bodice and the back bodice together and the sides with the lining attached, and we're ready to go to our next step. Okay, so even though the mannequin is much smaller than what I need, I still put it on my piece on the mannequin because it'll be easier to mold it that way. And what I mean by molding the lace on there. Yeah, it'll be much easier than to try and do it flat on just a board. So we're going to start placing and molding the lace, the white lace. Okay, so now I've taken approximately 10 pieces of tulle that measure approximately 8 yards in length each, and I've placed them together, and then I'm going to gather them. I've got basically like some light ivory, some ivory, and some brown. And I've actually got an 8-yard piece of lace as well that I'm going to actually put together and attach to the top bodice. But before I do that, I actually gather the tops of them and then pin them and stitch them. Okay, so here we have some tulle. I've cut 10 layers of 8-yard pieces of tulle. And basically I've got 8 layers of ivory, and then I've got 1 layer of nude tulle, and then I have 1 layer of lace. So I go ahead and I stitch 4 pieces together just because I want to do the nudes a little differently and separately. All right, so here we go. I always backtrack and then okay, now basically what I'm doing is I am taking the white lace and I'm placing it over top of this brown lace and over top of the dress, and I'm actually just trying to mold it onto the gown, and I'm just cutting up, bit by bit, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit, and hopefully it'll work itself out in a second. Okay, so I finished putting on the white lace, and now I'm about to put on some beaded trim to finish this gown off, and I'm really, really liking the way it's all turning out. Okay, so 80 yards of tulle has been added. The white lace has been added and the beaded trim is pinned in place. And so I'm going to go ahead and fix that on shortly, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay. I guess all I've got to do now is add a zipper and fix the trim to the actual gown so it's not pinned. I wanted to reiterate that that is 80 yards of tulle, so it's probably around 8 yards each, and there are 10 layers of tulle, well, 10 layers of fabric on the skirt, and that is 8 ivory, 1 nude, and then 1 nude lace, and that's the look that we get. It's probably around 1 yard of white lace and around 3 yards of the beaded trim that I used.